So for the record, please state your name.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
Spell it for us.
Miller.
Great. And we are currently at?
We're in the studio, 522.
And it's been in Fords for how long? You said 4 years?
4 years, Studio 20.
How did you first, keep your focus here, how did you first start working with the Night Owls?
Well, when I met John through a keyboard player friend of mine, Frank, I went to see them play, and they were pretty good.
Where did you first see them?
There's a bar local right here at the Liberty Tavern.
Okay. And so how did the process start about having a discussion about having an album done? Where was that? Where that first?
Well, originally we did a demo of their other band so that they could get jobs playing in the clubs. That's very typical, like a 5-song demo. And then they came back and said, well, we'll do it out.
So when you first saw the band come in and get together, specifically with a band that has a father and son as such integral parts, is it the first time you dealt with something like that? Is it kind of interesting to you?
It is the first time I've dealt with a father-son team, but musically I don't even think about it. Everybody's a musician.
So let's look at all 4 of these guys in the band. What do they bring to the table? I mean, I assume, worked really intricately in putting this album together. So how long did the process take? There's some ups, some downs. Finished product. Are you happy with it?
It took, I can't remember. It was over 6 months. Over a 6-month period. I know it didn't come out when we wanted it to come out. It took a little longer. But the whole thing's a learning process for me, too. Up until that point, all I've been doing was demos. And this was the first serious, well, let's make an album kind of.
This was the first album ever for Studio 522?
For me, yeah.
Okay. How did that process take for you? I mean, that's got to be a huge difference between let's cut something rough and see what it sounds like to this is going to be the real deal.
Well, it's a lot more critical. When you're doing just demos, it just has to be good enough for a club owner. When you're doing an album, it's something that's people are going to listen to over and over, so you want it right, and it takes a little longer to do that.
So when you sat down with Matt and John, they did a lot of the songwriting. Where does your role fit in terms of this is what the song they're writing? Then they sit down here and you bring out all this technology and you say, this is what we can make it sound like. How much is the real deal? How much technology is on this album?
Most of it's them. The only contribution that I did was to clean up. There might be some cloudy issues about which instruments to use. You want to add an acoustic guitar here instead of a really dirty electric, but most of it's them. My concern was just the sound of the album.
Now when they came to you with the material they had written, was there anything you said, you know what, we're not going to be able to do that, or was just no holds bar, let's go at it?
Oh no, I'm trying it. I like experimenting. This whole studio's an experiment. I'll just see what we get.
What's the favorite song on the album for you? What's that first track you listened to? You said, you know what? There you go. There it is.
To tell you the truth, yeah. There's been times I've been humming a tune, and it's one of theirs. Let me think. Probably Scarlet.
Yeah.
Scarlet has been running through my head.
Which is the track that was the hardest to put together from scratch? I mean, you look at that album and you say, all right, I know what you want it to be. Now let's get it in the recording, the studio and record it. What was the most difficult to put together? Some of them were pretty lengthy tracks on there.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, okay. The hardest one for me to record was Candlestick.
Why? Why is that?
Required a lot of attention on the vocals, getting an effect that sounded good, but not sounding too affected.
Now, what about the skill set that each of these guys has? I mean, you have a guy like Matt who comes in on this guitar, and
he's great.
They may say he's X amount of years old, but you compare him against some other people out there, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't look at age. I just see a musician, and knowing musicians the way I know them, you don't get the perfect take very often the first time. But that's with anybody, even professional guys that I've dealt with. So, I have no complaints with the way they play.
How about John and Ron and Manny? I mean, they're all their own individuals, their own musicians in their own right. What they're doing here.
Yeah. John's been playing a long time. I don't know much about Manny other than him working here, but and drummer is obvious. You know when a drummer is good and when a drummer is off. So everything was fine.
So have they been keeping you up to date on what this album's been doing since it's been out? Are you aware of the radio play it's been getting college-wise?
Yeah, Matt tells me, you know, when they're on the radio or when they're doing this. And I don't always get to tune in, but it's good. We really only live a couple blocks apart from each other.
So when you hear about this, and this is something that you had a very large stake in, I mean, the success of a musician, success of an album, how does that reverberate back to what you're doing here and just the day in and day out diligence that you put into this craft?
Oh, you know, makes me feel great. I say, well, it's pretty cool. I hear them and it's not, oh, they're on Facebook or they're on Reverb Nation. It's me. I'm on Reverb Nation. That's cool.
What artists these guys remind you the most of? What do you feel when you're working with them? I mean,
the first album obviously was a lot of Zeppelin. The second out, this one we're working on now, is more of a progressive, probably Pink Floyd kind of feel.
Where do you see?
So far, I don't think the whole album's going to be that way, but the two major tunes are going to be progressive.
So what does it feel like working with these guys again? You're talking about what, a little over a year since the last time around?
Yeah.
What's to come? What do you think? Are you excited this time around? Are you reinventing the wheel here, or what's it going to be like?
I don't know. We know what to expect from each other, and so it makes it a little easier to work. No surprises.
What's been now I didn't say no surprises going into it. What's been the biggest surprise overall? I'm sure people are coming down here and they say, Jim, we want to make an album. And that's where the conversation starts. Now you're looking back and you're seeing where the conversation has gone to. Is there anything you look back and say, you know what, I didn't expect that, but here it is. Good, bad, and different. But I'm just curious in your mind.
Well, to me, I guess no surprises in the fact of the songs are complete. They have a beginning, middle, and end. They're not writing it here. That's already been written. It's already been rehearsed. So that it's real nice for me. They come down and just play their tracks, and then my job is to take those tracks and try to shape the sound.
And my last question for you is, and I appreciate you giving us the time. When you look at this type of process, people buy an album, they know some guy in the band, they go to a show, they pick up an album, oh, it sounds great. But I don't think a lot of people realize the relationship between somebody like yourself and a band that comes in here that wants to create something artistic, something that is their music. What is that relationship like? I mean, is there some difficult times where you have to say, you know what, I know you want to do this, but this is the way it's going to come out? I mean, what is the relationship like between engineer and the artist?
Yeah, well, I've played bass myself, and I've been in bands for 20, 30 years, and at this point, I'm getting tired of it. I don't want to lug equipment around. I don't want to play out anymore. And I like recording. I like doing this. So to me, this is just in my career is just the next step. I don't have to play out anymore. I don't have to, make the music, but I can still be part of it, doing the recordings and engineering.
So 20, 30 years of musicians, what's ahead for these guys? What do you think? For the Night Owls, we're talking about.
I wish all the success for them. I wish, that they get a larger audience than just New Jersey.
Fantastic. I appreciate that, Jim. Anything else you want to add that we didn't touch upon you think is important for this type of conversation?